Right, welcome back to another series. We're in Wayakra, which is Leviticus. We're going to start in chapter 18. All right, we're going to start in verse 6. But no one is to approach anyone of his own flesh to uncover his nakedness. We have the name of God right there. The nakedness of your father or the nakedness of your mother you do not uncover. She is your mother. You do not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your father's wife you do not uncover. It is your father's nakedness. All right, so especially for women, highlight this importance here. Just make sure if you have to change clothing or if you're going somewhere swimming, the beach and things like that, that you're dressing appropriately so that you don't expose yourself to your nakedness, as well as dads as well. Wives, tell your husband, if you're going to the beach, wear a beater or some type of t-shirt or one of those, um, shirts that allow you to, breathe, very, very breathable, like the mesh shirts. But other than that, you just want to make sure you have your body parts covered. You don't want to expose them to your children. And then also your children, especially daughters. I know a lot of women have a close relationship with their mothers and things like that, but you just want to make sure that you're keeping yourself covered and not exposing yourself. So just make sure your children aren't around. And if you are a son or a daughter, just make sure you're not around your mother or your dad, especially when they're taking showers and things like that. If they naturally just, lie around the house without clothing and things like that, and you're aware of it, you just have to prevent it. Just try to, stay in your room or, if they're whatever areas of the house that they're primarily in, you don't have to go in those areas. Just try to find another place to be, or go outside, do some exercise. And so this is going to be key. All families are different. Some families don't really care too much about this, but this is going to be key. So just how you present it, just teach your children this. If you're in church or in this religion, then believe it. And then again, no one is to approach anyone of his own flesh to cover his nakedness. So that could mean anybody you related to. All right, so that's going to be key. Verse 9: the nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or elsewhere, their nakedness you do not uncover. All right, another key: of your sister. All right, if you have sisters, things like that, and sisters, this is important. Don't be around your other relatives, your cousins, male cousins, male brothers, and then your dads and things like that. You just want to make sure although they're close to you and things like that, you want to be comfortable enough to make sure that you know they're not going to see you or be exposed to that. So just make sure if you're going to take a shower, let them know, hey, you're going to be in the shower for this amount of time. Don't come in this area. That's how you got to do it with the bathrooms and things like that. Make sure everyone, actually they have to use it. If they don't, then you're good to go. And then this means that, the daughter of your father or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or elsewhere. So if your dad has a daughter by another woman, all right, that's also key. Although you don't have the same mother, that doesn't mean that she's free for you to, see naked, and things like that. She's still, you have to treat it as one. This is not in the past anymore. This is, this new approach God is taking now. All right, so He's telling them these new commandments. This is not like the Ten Commandments, but this He's telling them what they can't do. His laws with them, right? So verse 10: the nakedness of your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, their nakedness you do not uncover, for theirs is your own nakedness. All right, the nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, brought forth by your father, she is your sister. You do not uncover her nakedness. So this is basically going back over what we was just talking about, your father's wife's daughter. So it's not your mother. All right, and then also here, your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter. All right. So you don't want to approach your grandchildren. All right, that's the thing. So grandmothers, grandfathers, you don't want to see your grandchildren naked. Although some may have to take baths give them baths, and they have to change diapers. There's you just have to find other ways and methods to do that. And then the key here is money is important. All right, some people can hire sitters that's there, or nannies. They could be around 24/7. Some have that luxury. Others don't. Some have to have it part time. But have a neighbor do it or someone close to the family. You may adopt someone just to be able to do that for you. It's a lot of options, but you have to think outside the box. And this is also something you need to prepare for when you're going into a relationship, marriage, and planning on having kids and things like that. All right. So we also have this. We go to verse 12. Um, the nakedness of your father's sister you do not uncover. She is your father's flesh. So your aunties, things like that. That's a no-no. So some maybe it's some if you watch like Jerry Springer, Maury, things like that. Steve Wilkos. It's some relationships like this that's happened out there. They talk about it. So you know this is a no-no. These are the do's and don'ts. Verse 13, the nakedness of your mother's sister you do not uncover, for she is your mother's flesh. So, again, it doesn't matter if it's your mom or dad. That's also key. Girls and and boys, all right? Verse 14, the nakedness of your father's brother you do not uncover, you do not approach his wife, she is your aunt. All right, so the nakedness of your father's brother you do not uncover. So, girls, you may have uncles. They may try to talk to you, or you may be attracted to them because they remind you of your dad. Nope, can't do that. You know, you got to find someone outside of your family. You do not approach his wife. All right, so the wife, although she may not be related, so if they never got married or if they never met, she wouldn't be related, right? That's how some think. But no, now that she's married, she's your aunt. So you do not approach her and uncover her nakedness. All right, that's key. You know, even if your uncle is not around or the husband is not around, you know, you just don't do that. All right. The nakedness of your daughter-in-law you do not uncover. She is your son's wife. You do not uncover her nakedness. So, daughter-in-law, it's the same thing. Although your son, you know, let's say if he gets married, you know, she's not your daughter. She's attractive though. That's how sometimes some relationships get messed up. You know, the dad may get attracted to the son's daughter, but that's a reason it also says to leave your father and mother, all right? Because the dad may still think he's the dad and, you know, do something and thinks that, hey, we're the same person, you know? So this will stop a lot of things here. And if you're the daughter-in-law, remember, if they're a Christian and your boyfriend or your husband, fiance is trying to live that life holy, have to leave your father and mother, and this to stop this right here. And with the grandkids too on that side. And then on the mother side, y'all just have to figure that out. Verse 16, the nakedness of your brother's wife you do not uncover. It is your brother's nakedness. Again, it says leave your father and mother. So if you still have brothers, y'all still may want to get in contact and hang out and stuff sometimes. So it's just best that to do it where you're not going to be naked. All right. Water parks and things like that, that may not be a good idea. Accidents happen. So you just want to plan the right areas to be at. Verse 17, the nakedness of a woman and her daughter you do not uncover, nor do you take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness. They are her relatives. It is wickedness. So, if you're dating a woman, all right, any woman, it just says the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. So you don't do mom and daughter, all right? There are some dudes that may think that it's cool, or you know, they may be involved in some type of lifestyle where that's what they do. They want the mom and a daughter, or they want twin sisters and things like that. That's not cool. All right. So you do not uncover and her daughter. So the woman and her daughter is both together. You don't do that. All right. Nor do you take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter. All right. So you see here, if you're dating a woman, all right, you don't take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter. You know, the grandchildren as well. You know, this all are her relatives. They're all related. So you don't want to do with nobody that woman is related to. All right. See, you just say here, they are her relatives. So it's something wicked about dating a woman and, you know, sleeping with her relatives. All right. So it's a wickedness. Verse 18. Do not take a woman as a rival to her sister to uncover her nakedness while the other is alive. All right. So this is talking, remember, I told you twin sisters. It's some people that rap about it, rap about having twin sisters. It's people that's bold enough to brag about it. But this is key. You don't want to go with people that's related, closely related, things like that. You want to find out about them. So that women, it's a heads up to know that, hey, you want somebody that's going to want to know you, and vice versa. You don't want a brother, you know, that and his brother. All right. You don't want a man and his brother, or, you know, father and son. Same thing. Verse 19, do not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness in her monthly separation of uncleanliness. So again, if you're on your monthly time period, that's a no-no. All right, stay covered. Don't even try to do sex. You're gonna be unclean, right? So see, approach a woman to uncover her nakedness in her monthly separation of uncleanness. All right, that's when you need to be separate from that. Verse 20, and do not have intercourse with the wife of your neighbor to defile yourself with her. So this is one way to get defiled. We talked about the woman that was defiled when she went to that land, and she was defiled by the guys there, and they came back with the son and the dad to try to marry her. And it's a lot that went happen, but you have to go back in the previous series of Berishiv. But we see here, if you got a neighbor, he has a wife, she may be at the house when he's not there, and you're there and being around, you don't want to defile yourself. So don't even have intercourse with her. That's what it says right here. And do not have intercourse with the wife of your neighbor. All right, so that's key. So you already know that you're not related and things like that. Still, all right. So as we continue on, verse 21, and do not give any of your offspring to pass through to Molech, and do not profane the name of your Elohim. I am, and we have the name of God right there. And do not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. All right. So again, here, females, if you see this, they call that an abomination. So do not lie with a male as with a woman. So that's talking about same sex. All right, it's an abomination. Look up what abomination is and how strongly that word, the definition that describe this word, and you'll see that although it may be a male that's trying to stop, it's probably best for them to stay single. All right, you don't want to get caught up in this, especially if they go back to line with males the same way as they do with females. And you know how passionate it gets when you're with a woman and a man that loves each other. You don't want to get involved in that. All right. Verse 23, and do not have intercourse with any beast to defile yourself with it. And a woman does not stand before a beast to mate with it. It is a perversion. All right. So again, dogs, horses, things like that. There's animals that women actually sleep with. You can look them up. It's out there. They even have a section in it in porn for that. All right. This is how you defile yourself. All right. You do not want to do that. All right. Don't even think about it. All right. If you have trouble with animals, you love them, but if you're get a same sex animal. All right. Maybe that'll help. But other than that, if you do have that issue, this is something you want to get prayer about and really take the right measures to get everything straight.